In this problem, we'll do another conversion. Here, a jogger runs a mile in 8.92 minutes, and it's asking us to calculate the speed in inches per second, meters per minute, and kilometers per hour. So first thing we know is that seconds is a unit of time, minutes is a unit of time, and kilometers per hour, hours is a unit of time. They are all in the denominator. So we can put our 8.92 minutes in the denominator as well to get the units to cancel out. So the first thing we'll do is recognize that a jogger runs a mile in 8.92 minutes. So 1 mile is 8.92 minutes is our conversion. So for every 1 mile there's an 8.92 minute mile. So that's the correct conversion factor. We recognize that for every 1 minute there are 60 seconds. So you can see that the minute will cancel out, which is good. This is what we want. And then we can use this conversion factor here that for every 1 mile, there's 1,609 meters. So that conversion factor is something you do not need to memorize. It is something I'll give you on an exam. So the idea here is to go through a sort of a train where you're canceling out units till you get to the units that you desire. In this case, it's going to be inches per second. Finally, we got the miles to cancel out. I recognize that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So the meters and meters should cancel out from there. And then using our second conversion factor, that 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So 2.54 centimeters we'll put at the bottom because to get the centimeters to cancel out, inches remain at the numerator. So my final answer will have units of inches per second, which is what is desired. So 1609 times 100 divided by parentheses 8.92 times 60 times 2.54. Close those parentheses, and this should give us our final answer. Doing that on my calculator, I'm getting the answer of about 118 inches per second. So keeping it at 3 sig figs, 8.92 is about 3 significant figures. I'll put my answer to 3 significant digits. Part B, we are at meters per minute. So this one should be pretty straightforward. We'll start with our same conversion that for every 1 mile, there's 8.2 minutes. He'll run that mile, or this jogger runs that mile. And we have our direct conversion factor shown above. 1 mile contains or is equivalent to 1,609 meters. The miles cancel out, and we're left with 1609 divided by 8.92, which will be our final answer. Putting it to 3 significant figures, getting an answer of about 180 meters per minute. Finally, let's look at part C, kilometers per hour. So start with what we're given. 1 mile is 8.92 meters. So notice the arrangement. I'm putting the mile in the numerator and the 8.92 minutes in the denominator. I do what I need to do to get my units to cancel out. I could just as easily with these conversion factors flip it and have the minutes in the numerator and the miles in the denominator, but that won't work in getting the final answer into the units that the problem wants me to get it in. So our next conversion factor is that we know for every 1 hour, in 1 hour there's 60 minutes. So that should successfully get my minutes to cancel out. And then finally, I have hours in the denominator. 1 mile is 1,609 meters. So the miles will cancel out. These are all known as conversion factors, just so you know. And I'll give you these conversion factors on the exam, so you do not need to memorize them. And finally, our last conversion factor is 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. So don't confuse this with the other one, milli. It's 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. Milli is 10 to the minus 3. Kilo is the opposite. So 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. So do not confuse milli and kilo with regard to the base unit. So 60 times 1609 divided by parentheses 8.92 times 1,000. Notice all my units successfully cancel out, and I'm left with kilometers per hour, my final units. And this answer is 10.8 kilometers per hour.